Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Welcome back to Fanon International Boxing Channel. In this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where we know this gigantic fight is taking place the Saturday after next in Las Vegas, the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight. And man, out of Terence Crawford's supporters there, and this time his own team. It's a lot of conspiracy theories out there putting seeds out there in case something goes wrong for Terence Crawford. Let's talk about what they said, specifically Brian McIntyre, the trainer, and let's talk about whether or not there's any reason for them to believe that, because there very well may be. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back. It's your boy Fanon. We are in the 147-pound division where Brian McIntyre, who is the trainer for Terence Crawford, one of the trainers for Terence Crawford, shared a concern at their last workout that took place yesterday that is echoing something that was said by Tim Bradley. And it is that they think something foul may be afoot with the scorecards. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos if you like the video. If you don't hit it. If you do, hit that thumbs up button and tell me that you like it. Also, thank you to everybody that is a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel. And thank you to everybody that sponsors videos like this in the super thanks. It really does make a difference. A good way to continue to allow the channel to continue to do the content that we do. But before we get into that, I just want to tell you real fast about today's sponsor, the Boxing Showtime app. It's a very useful app that keeps you updated on all things boxing, and you can keep up with the latest fights, where to watch them, the latest news, and a lot more. For any hardcore boxing fan like myself, and most likely all of y'all, I would definitely recommend downloading it. And it also is most definitely a big support to the channel. It's available for both Apple and Android, and you can find the link in the description below. Thanks for considering downloading Boxing Showtime's app. But let's get back into the subject matter of the video, because this is not the first time, it's not the second time that this has been said, that Errol Spence Jr. is the A side in this fight, and that there are people who wonder whether or not that means that Terence Crawford will get robbed on the cards or in some other way mistreated by the state of Nevada, because Errol Spence Jr. is the big money guy going into this fight. That was said previously by ESPN commentator and well-known friend of Terence Crawford, Tim Bradley. And he is now been backed up in his concern by Brian McIntyre, who is the trainer, goes by the name Bomac, or goes by the nickname Bomac, who is the trainer of Terence Crawford. And he said after this workout that took place yesterday at the UFC Center in Las Vegas, UFC Training Center in Las Vegas, he said that they don't know how the fight is going to go. You know, this is the first time they fought with the PBC, and the question was in response to Errol Spence Jr. being the A side. I do believe that had been mentioned several times in the comments by different reporters in the myriad of interviews that were given. And Brian McIntyre was like, look, this is the first time we've been with the PBC, fighting in Vegas, we just got to make sure that, this doesn't go to the judges. We got to make sure that that we don't leave it in the hands of the judges. So clearly worried that because Errol Spence Jr. is the guy that really does bring majority of the fans to the fight, is the bigger name, is the guy that has had more successful pay-per-views. Also, he's the guy whose promotion, whose television network is putting on the fight. That's Showtime. PBC obviously is the network that Errol Spence Jr., or the platform that Errol Spence Jr. has spent his entire career on. And this is Terence Crawford going into, an organization where this is his first time in there. So is that reasonable what they're saying? I don't think that it's unreasonable to say that when somebody is a big name fighter in Las Vegas, that oftentimes they can wind up getting the call in fights. However, I don't think it's something that really, in this particular circumstance, I don't know really if they should have to worry about it, because that's not been the case with fights with the PBC. You really can't point to a whole lot of fights where the scorecards really did not, in a big fight, didn't reflect what went on in the ring. Unless, you're talking about, this is not like you're talking about Canelo Alvarez or, really Canelo Alvarez is the guy that really stands out, where it's like, you think you need a knockout to beat this guy. Errol Spence Jr., I've never seen a fight where that's been the case with Errol Spence, where you can say, okay, well, yeah, they're just giving this guy rounds. I think that had been the case before, maybe with Manny Pacquiao, where Manny Pacquiao had fought Juan Manuel Marquez, and it was like, you just know you got to do some extra special things in order to get rounds off Manny Pacquiao. I don't think Errol Spence Jr. has really gotten to that level in boxing yet, where the score, where the judges and all that are going to be really affected by the mere presence of Errol Spence Jr. and looking for a way for him not to get knocked off by some unknown B-side. It just doesn't make sense to me. However, I will say, though, that one of the points that were made by Tim Bradley, I think that has some merit to it, because he said that, look, if you're in Las Vegas, and in Las Vegas, typically the judges, they prefer people that are fighting or that are pushing the fight, that are being more aggressive. And Terence Crawford, who usually starts slower, and even if he does start a little faster, because I do think he started faster with David Avanesyan in his last fight. At least he started faster by throwing more jabs out there. That he may, even if he starts fighter, he's more selective in his pacing of the fight. And if Errol Spence Jr. has a much higher output and he's continually touching Terence Crawford, then yeah, man, Terence Crawford can definitely go down on the cards. And also, Errol Spence Jr. is a very, very underrated fighter, man. In my opinion, very underrated boxer. I mean, his ability to fight, to counterpunch, and this idea that people think that he's continually getting hit by people, when in actuality, it looks like Terence Crawford is getting hit at about the same percentage as Errol Spence Jr. is. It's just that Errol's engaging more. So when you engage more, the opponent's going to throw more punches and you're going to get hit more. But as far as like the judges scoring for activity, that's what Vegas has been doing for a long time. And honestly, that's what a lot of people do. Because when the other guy's not doing something and you're doing something, hey, and you're on a 10-point must system, and on top of it, people are really throw fits about you having a 10-10 round. Hey man, you wind up getting the edge on some of those cards. But what I think more than likely is going to happen in the card is, what usually happens is there's going to be one referee that is going to be dang near breaking his back to give rounds to Terence Crawford. Another one is breaking his back to giving rounds to Errol Spence Jr. And the other guy, you don't know what's going to happen with that swing judge. That's typically what I see in these fights. That's like what I saw in the Sean Porter versus Errol Spence Jr. fight. And you can't tell me anyway for anything that the fix was in for that fight. But look at the way, that Sean Porter's the A side in that fight. But look at the way the Larry Hazard scored that fight versus the other two judges, or how when you see Tito Trinidad fight Oscar De La Hoya, or just a myriad of other fights where you just have one judge that is really high on one guy, the other guy is really high on the other guy, and there's that in-between judge that may wind up either making that fight a draw or making it a split decision win for the other guy if it's not a purely dominating performance for somebody else, for one of the other guys. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.